What is up? I wanted to chat about listening to your body's intuitive wisdom because this is super important if you're wanting to be able to make decisions and live a life that's actually in synchronicity and flow. And you're going to hear roosters, by the way, because I hear them and they crow all the time here. So if you hear roosters, just get to imagine you're in Thailand. And P.S. whoever decided that roosters crow at like the crack of dawn at a very useful time to wake everyone up and then they just do their quiet thing, they were wrong. That's not what happens. Luckily, I'm learning how to switch my sleep flow so that I can sleep before they start at 4 a.m. Or 5. Or just get good earplugs. Anyway, point being, back to the intuitive body stuff. So I guess I just want to talk about it in a few contexts. Like, first of all, making decisions in our life. Usually our body knows what's the best thing to do, and you can tell because you can just simply, like, a lot of times we get stuck making decisions in our head. Okay, like, I know I do this. I'm like, okay, this option versus this option, you know, this, whatever the option is, or whatever the decision is that has to be made. It's like, you think about it, you make a pro and cons list, you weigh, you try to imagine, like, this and that, but when we still imagine what decision we're making, we're doing it in our head. That was a loud one. Versus just tapping into our body. So something that I've started doing recently is instead, like, I get into sort of a meditation and I just start breathing. I let my thoughts go. I let any thoughts about the outcome of these choices go. And I really focus more on what I feel inside of my body. And then from there, I can ask, you know, I can tune in to say, like, which of these choices, what feels, you know, and sorry, I got really distracted for a minute. I don't know why. ADD. Still going to keep going. Done is better than perfect. That's another good philosophy to follow. But really what it comes down to is just like getting into that quiet space, getting into a zone in your body, in your breath, in your meditation, and then gently introducing the idea of your choices or your possible paths in life, and then feeling just like what comes up in your body. And you'll start to get a sense of what's sort of an affirmation and what's a negative. It might feel a little uncomfortable, or you might feel a little drawn towards something. You might feel a little nervous. You might feel a little bit repelled away, but like that might be just excitement rather than fear, right? So start to notice in your body what's fear, what's actually like a negative, repelling feeling versus, oh, something might be a little nerve-wracking. You know, maybe you're thinking about leaving that job, or maybe you're thinking about, you know, asking that cute person out on a date. You might feel a little bit of butterflies, but that could be a good thing, right? Because I heard somewhere that fear is actually just, so what, like the difference between fear and excitement are they're very similar, but fear is excitement without the breath. So I don't really know how that's quite relevant. Oh, there's a little guy moving up there. That's cool. Back to focus. I swear I can help. What am I trying to say? Yeah. Ooh. Focus. Haven't had coffee yet. So, yeah, just feeling and tuning into these different decisions in your body. And the other aspect I want to talk about, just intuitively listening to your body, is on a more physical realm. Like lately, here on this island, like, personally, I've been going through some phases where I'm really confused about what my body actually wants. You know, like my sleep and my food and all these things have been kind of on a new pattern. And I just wanted to point out, like, sometimes this is okay. And again, it's really important to listen personally to our body, because we're often told what, you know, we need to eat 3 meals a day, we need to get 8 hours of sleep, we need to drink this much water and do this and all these things and like exercise for this amount of time. But your body's the only one that knows what it needs. So just like the more that you can develop this trusting relationship with your body and say, hey, okay, like for some reason, my body doesn't want to eat solid foods until 6 p.m. or my body just like wants to eat fruits for a day or two. And trusting that and honoring that and saying like, hey, I trust you. You're giving me the deeper wisdom than my brain knows, right? My brain is pulling in information from society and programs. My body is pulling in information from the environment, from a deeper place, and potentially from, from more soul level things. So the more that you can trust and build your physical relationship with your body, the more information it's going to give you about things like life decisions and intuitive answers. So your intuition is going to build, your physical health is going to build. Just set aside even some time, like 10 minutes a day, to touch in specifically for a body meditation. And just say, hey, okay, like maybe you have your regular meditation, but this could be my meditation to body scan, to check in with what's happening inside my body physically, emotionally, energetically, and to be really in tune with that, because there's so much valuable wisdom. And when we live in our heads, I promise you, it is not a good place to live. I mean, I could be wrong. Like, I'm open to actually debate about that if you feel like living in your head is really fulfilling, but not all of the time, right? So our brains are great servants and terrible masters. So if we learn how to use our mind capacity for our greater good, but the director of that is coming from somewhere else, and that's up to you to explore where that lives in you. Is that your soul? Is that your, like, who is the watcher of your thoughts? Wow, this video got into so many different tangents. I'm gonna blame the roosters.